Hello and welcome to my podcast. My name is Garth Delican. I'm a motivational speaker and lifestyle expert. As we roll into 2018 and people are making resolutions left, right and centre, I'd like to talk to you about a growth mindset. Because a growth mindset is the key to success in all areas of your life. And if you get it right, everything will just fall into place. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to skate right through their professional career while others seem to struggle endlessly? For some of us, corporate life just doesn't seem to come as easily as it does to others. Or does it? Is it possible that intelligence is not necessarily left to the gene pool and there is something you can do about it? The area of intelligence is measured in several ways. By the academic tests you take, by the grades you receive, and sometimes by a standardised test or an intelligence quotient test. As many people grew up, they adopted the beliefs of the adults around them, or teachers, believing such things as he's not as smart as his older brother is, or she's not as academically inclined, but maybe has musical talent. The idea or notion that you can only be either creative or academic is another potential story that you may have heard as a youngster. Maybe your big brother got the smart gene and you got the creative gene. Decades ago, that explanation would suffice. Today, however, we know more and we know better. In a world of personal development, it is known that your thoughts create your reality. So when it comes to success in all areas of your life, there is a new knowledge. That knowledge is that mindset matters. So if you can create a reality based on your thoughts, then logic tells you can create a life that is successful in all compartments of your life, from intelligence through to creativity, based on the work you do with your mindset. So how do you go about changing your mind? Well, when it comes to mindsets, there are two kinds. There's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Changing your mind may be viewed as a negative. However, it's not the case. Changing your mind does not mean you cannot make up your mind, that you're indecisive, that you are out of integrity and don't do what you say you will, or that you are flighty, or even that you're unintelligent. Changing your mind, if you will, can assist you in creating a new life. You can change your mind in a positive way. So what does changing your mind mean? Let's get to it. In a world of intelligence, learning and academics, it means to have a new understanding. That understanding highlights an important psychological factor. When you take on something new, your brain records this new learning endeavour because you have expanded yourself, worked hard and learned something new. There is now a new connection for your brain to recall, which over time can actually make you smarter. You have exercised your brain away from the thought that intelligence is static and that it is a growth process. The more you learn, the more you exercise your brain, the more you grow. Therefore, the more you are capable of learning. In the world of the everyday, have you ever noticed how one negative thing in your early morning routine, such as losing your car keys or spilling your tea or your coffee, has the power to set the tone of the entire rest of the day? Does your day continue to spiral downward into a negative cyclone of mishaps and misfortunes the more you focus on that one thing which started your day off poorly? Well, you're not really alone. But the next time that happens, take a moment to change your mind. It takes a challenge and plenty of practice, but it is so worth every minute of effort. Exercise your brain, just like anything else. Practice makes perfection. Take a moment to recognise that you are not the only one that lets things like this happen to. Hundreds of thousands of people around the globe have lost their car keys and spilled their tea or coffee. They just don't let it ruin their day. Moreover, they don't let it rule the rest of their day. Change your mind. Maybe you needed to run late this particular day because you were going to meet your next big client, or the love of your life on the train that day. Perhaps you needed to avoid a big accident. Change your mind and change your life. The same thing goes for learning new things. With a growth mindset, you can train your brain to view learning new subjects as a positive experience rather than a negative one. So how to change your mind in order to change your life? It's simpler than you think, but it does take a few steps to be able to do it. So have a look at your own points of view. Take some time to evaluate your own points of view and don't hold back. Be completely honest with yourself. Do you have a more negative outlook on life? Do you even get annoyed in the company of others who take on a more positive attitude? Are you so set in your ways you are unwilling to explore, learn and create your life? If you've answered yes to any of these pertinent questions, and you will, I'm sure, to some of them, then there is one more question to ask. Do you wish to take responsibility for using your mindset and do the work to create the most growth you could ever have imagined or hoped for all areas in your life. Once you have examined your views and thought patterns and beliefs in total honesty, you are ready to move on to the next step. So is it a challenge is it simply an excuse to quit? Is it a roadblock or a way to host a pity party? Do you procrastinate in order to turn away from perfectionism? When someone else experiences success, do you feel less than? Or do you view a challenge as something fearful? Are you willing to be open to something new? What if you could take a hard look at those questions and recreate them to show up as positives? Are you willing to be open to explore new possibilities? Transformation is yours if you are willing to do the work and walk the walk. With practice, any new way of being becomes a habit. It's your choice whether you want to have a habit of growth positivity or negative decline. So let's have a look at this, how this could potentially work. And remember, a challenge is a form of growth and not an excuse to quit. When faced with a challenge, it is easy to spend time and energy focusing on the challenge itself. The thoughts you think, such as it's being too hard or why does this happen to me, also known to me as woe is me syndrome, you can distract your energy from the task at hand. What would happen if you viewed your challenge as a way to grow and expand? What if that new responsibility led to more money, a higher job position, or a transfer with a promotion? This is how to view your situation from a growth mindset point of view. Is a roadblock a chance to host a pity party? If you have a deep subconscious belief that everything bad happens to you, then the chances are high that you invite roadblocks into your life. Sometimes it's easier to host a pity party than to come up with creative intelligence resources to resolve the problem at hand. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? What would happen if you viewed a roadblock as an opportunity to use your creativity to go around it or under it? In a growth mindset, this is what you would take on. Viewing a roadblock as a way to stretch, grow and improve rather than something to feel sorry for yourself about and an excuse to quit. Another question you've got to ask yourself is, do you avoid procrastination as a way to avoid perfectionism? Does the thought of not being good enough haunt you, so you procrastinate? What would happen if you were to approach a project or a challenge as an opportunity to expand your horizons or to recreate yourself as a master of the task at hand? A growth mindset will offer you the opportunity to change your perception, face the task head on, and take it on with all the vim and vigour you could ever desire. Another question as well. When someone else experiences success, do you feel less than? And by that I mean, if someone else experiences success, you have a choice. Either you can be happy for them and inspired by them, making you want to strive higher, or you can feel resentful or jealous. Many people are allowed to choose the success of others to make them feel bad about themselves because it's easier to beat yourself up that way. However, individuals with a growth mindset hold the belief that intelligence can be learned and developed and is not just for the elite few. It is available to anyone with a desire to improve. The brain is trainable like everything else. Do you view challenge as fearful? When faced with a challenge, do you become overwhelmed and debilitated by fear? Or do you grasp on tight and face it head on? Your mindset will determine how you handle a challenge and ultimately what the outcome of that challenge will be as well. People with a growth mindset know that a challenge is a way of doing things differently, thinking smarter and working harder. So always try and focus on the process and not on the praise. As a parent, if you are a parent, are you tempted to praise your child for every success, both big and small? If you look at a new way of fostering a growth mindset, you will discover that praising the process is more effective. When your child works something out and does a job well, encourage and praise them when and where they figured it out, and rather than the end goal itself. This encourages learning and growing and teaches children how to come up with creative and intelligent solutions rather than focusing only on the end goal. And using constructive criticism is really good. Criticism of any kind is thought of in a fixed mindset way as though it is negative. However, constructive criticism offers a new model and method of teaching by showing what doesn't work and questioning what will work if your mind is open to it. By offering a constructive criticism, it gives children the opportunity to figure out how to fix something in a positive light. So here are a few steps to developing a growth mindset. Number 1 is to learn. Number 2 is to work hard. And number 3 is to face setbacks. And you can learn from these things. In a fixed mindset point of view, you will want to learn as much as you can for the sake of looking good. Being intelligent means that you look good, and others will be impressed by your intelligence. However, on the other hand, a growth mindset will curiously and intriguingly inquire, ask questions, and want to learn more. With a growth mindset, you will learn and will be focused on learning rather than perfecting the grade. A fixed mindset might view the A at the end of the learning, that the ultimate goal has been reached. A growth mindset has no problem taking on more learning in exchange for the perfect grade. And hard work in a fixed mindset, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that if you work hard, you are not actually smart. A growth mindset will highlight that hard work and effort equate being the best you can be at something. A growth mindset will retrain your brain to connect to the thought process that work hard and lots of effort will equate to success. The more hard work you do, the more effort you put into something, the more success you will attain. And you've got to have the ability to face setbacks. In a fixed mindset, you might view a setback as an easy way to make an excuse, run the other way like most people do, or blame someone or something else. In a growth mindset, you will view a setback as a way to work harder, to spend more time studying, or to take on more organised skills and practices. For example, you may not be so inclined to procrastinate and cram if you get a poor grade, rather than simply blaming it on not being as smart as everyone else or even being a good student. Now that you can understand a few differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, you will understand that having a growth mindset is an achievable goal. If you want to opt in for a growth mindset, remember some important tips. Number 1, work hard. Number 2, remember to take on perseverance even in struggle. Number 3, take on tasks that are more difficult so that you can retrain your brain to succeed. Number 4, keep your mindset on learning new things and continuing to do so in an effort to reset your brain. Number 5, highlight what strategies and learnings work for you personally. Number 6, be honest about what strategies for learning did not work for you. If you're an adult, that's great news. You can take on this advice and these practices and work hard to create a growth mindset. If you're a parent or a teacher, that's even better. You get the opportunity to help grow and shape a child's mind. What would your child's future look like if you encouraged them to work hard rather than using a label? What if working hard was rewarding and fun, and your child wanted to do more and more over the course of his or her life? Think about the endless possibilities. Learning can be fun and rewarding as well. As an adult, your child can have a great earning potential, a possibly better lifestyle, and also go on to teach their children the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. With a growth mindset, the possibilities are unlimited.